Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So there are two new things about me. The first thing is my hair. I got my hair did. So I jumped on that whole knotless braids wave. She did a great job. I will link her details in the description below. And the second thing is I'm 34, guys. Like, I'm 34. Like, I'm actually 34. Like, oh my gosh, like I had a whole birthday and I'm 34. And you know what's crazy? Sorry, that's my phone. I really need to put it on non-disturb. Is that like I can't even say that I'm like early 30s anymore. Like, I'm mid 30s. Like, I'm a mid 30-year-old woman. Like, what? How did that even happen? Anyway, we praise God, we thank God. I'm very grateful for another year. So in turning 34, I have basically been doing some reflections, and I thought it'd be a really good idea to do a video of what would I tell my younger self. So when I say my younger self, I probably mean like my mid 20-year-old self. So what would I tell her? Now, you guys, if you follow me, you guys know my channel. If you don't, thank you for joining, by the way. That I like to have notes when I'm talking about things. So I have a few notes here, and I kind of have, like, they're in no particular order, but there are about 10 different things that I've written. So I really want to share that with you guys. I hope it blesses you, I hope it encourages you, and I hope it helps you. Okay, the first thing that I'm gonna say is and this is probably one that I get asked about a lot. And the question is usually, how are you still single? I mean, the answer to that is I don't know. God just obviously hasn't had this as part of his plan yet, but that's okay. And I guess what I want to say, and I see this happen to different women, and it happened to me as well, and it happens to guys too, is, guys, I just want to say it is okay to still be single at 30. That's what I want to say. Because I feel like we kind of like get to the point where we're like 25. Sorry, my hair is just getting in my face. I feel like we get to the point where we're like 25 or like 26, and we're like, okay, by the time I'm 30, I have to get married, I have to have kids, I have to do all of that. It's like we've got this 30 as like a milestone, and I don't know where it came from. I think I've spoken about this before. I don't know where it came from. I don't know who said it. I don't know who made the rules. But I just want to let you guys know that it's okay to still be single at 30. It's not going to be the end of the world. It doesn't mean the apocalypse is going to happen. Like, it's okay. So that's probably one thing that I would tell my like 25-year-old self, that if you're still single at 30, it's okay. The second thing that I would say is that you don't have to have your whole life figured out in like your mid-20s. Like, you're still exploring, you're still getting to know yourself, you're still getting to know what you like, what you dislike, what you enjoy. Like, nobody has everything figured out by the time they're 25. Like, just no one. Like, your interests change, you grow, you develop. So don't try and feel like you have to have everything figured out. Like, it's okay. You're on a journey and it's fine. Like, just take one day at a time, enjoy the process. You don't have to have everything figured out. The next thing that I would say is certain friendships are seasonal, and that's okay. Sometimes you can really like find it hard to let go of a friendship, or you can find it really difficult to move on from that friendship, or it doesn't even have to be toxic. It could literally just be that like you guys you've just kind of grown apart, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that they're a bad person. It just means that you guys' time of being friends may be up, and that's okay. You can love from a distance. So certain friendships are seasonal. The next thing I want to say, and again, this is literally in no particular order, so try not to rush into becoming a property owner. Like, in the UK, we are so obsessed with buying properties. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know why. Because they're not like that in the US. They're not like that in Europe. In Europe, most people rent an apartment for years. The same as in America. Whereas in the UK, we all become very obsessed with owning a property. It's like we're in our mid-20s and we're like, oh my gosh, like, I need to get a property. I need to buy it. I need to get on the property ladder. And that may be because it's like the British culture and like our parents did it. But what you have to remember is the wages that they had and like the proximity to a property house price was very different to what it is now. It wasn't like a huge disparity between what you earned and what you could buy. So times have changed is what I'm trying to say, and it's a lot harder for us as millennials, like if I can still call myself a millennial, to get on the property ladder. But it's okay if you don't own a property by the time you're 30. Like, it's okay. I'm not saying you shouldn't have these goals. I'm not saying that you shouldn't like aim to attain for it. No, of course you should, but like, it's okay. It's okay if you don't own a property by the time you're 30. Things have changed, times are a lot harder. Just do you, just stay in your lane, don't worry about what other people are doing. And that's kind of the next thing that I'd get onto. Like, don't compare. Like, comparison is literally the thief of joy. Like, God has a specific plan and purpose for you, and he has specific blessings for you that he wishes to give you in his timing. So I know sometimes we can be looking at what other people have got and what other people are doing, but they are not you. Be okay with that. Like, just focus on your lane, focus on your purpose, focus on the things that God has designed for you. It doesn't matter what everybody else is doing. You just stay where you are, and you will be okay. So the next thing I would say is, this is kind of a hard one, but people are going to disappoint you. And sometimes we can become a little bit, I guess, obsessed with like people pleasing. We want everybody to like us, we want everybody to treat us how we treat them, but life literally does not work that way. For me, what I've come to learn is that God doesn't disappoint me, and Jesus is faithful, and he will always remain faithful. That even though I do get hurt at times, and even though I do get a little bit upset at times, I think ultimately, like, my hope and my trust and everything is in Christ, because he is the one who doesn't disappoint. But yeah, people are going to disappoint you, and people are going to let you down. Again, it doesn't mean that they're bad people, it doesn't mean that they were intentionally trying to hurt you, but they are people. We are people. I'm sure I've disappointed people the same way that you probably disappointed people as well. Try not to hold people in such high regard, because unfortunately people do disappoint you, and that's not to like be like negative Nelly, it's just to be real. People can't always meet our expectations, and they're not supposed to, and that's okay. And another thing I would say is, like, stand by your convictions. Try not to act on every emotion. Like, emotions are very fleeting, and one morning you can feel, especially for us as women, one morning you can wake up and you can just feel so amazing, and you're like, yeah, the sky is blue, like everything is so awesome. And then, like, by the time you go to bed, you could be crying. Like, I don't know if anybody else gets that, but that happens to me a lot. And what I try to do is, when I'm in that place, is to not act on my emotions. So like, my emotions could be telling me all types of things, but I have to really use wisdom. And I've noticed that when I do act out on emotions, it's usually wrong. I've made a wrong assumption, and you can also end up really hurting somebody. So I would say, like, try not to act emotionally, but by using wisdom instead. Another thing, like, that kind of came to me recently, actually, probably to do with this year, is be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Like, I spoke about this a little bit in my uncertainty video, but a lot of the time we really want to have control of our lives, and we want to have control of our destinies, we want to have control of like everything that's happening, how it happens, blah 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 blah. Like, we want to write the script. But sometimes you just have to be comfortable with not knowing. And does it feel great? No. Like, but you have to learn to be okay with it and to grow with it. Like, you grow the most when you're outside of your comfort zone. And then that kind of leads me on to say, and I guess this will actually be the last thing, is allow God to write your journey. Like, a lot of the time, like I said, we want to be in control, we want to hold the pen, we want to like determine everything. But God has like a way better perspective than we do. Like, the Bible says that his thoughts are not our thoughts, his ways are higher than our ways. Even going back to my first point about being single at 30, like, it's okay. I never would have thought that I would have still been single at 30. And I'm now 34 and I'm still single. And I never would have thought that. And if you'd have asked me this at 25, you would have been like, if you're still single by the time you're 34, how would you feel? I probably would have just had like a panic attack there and then, like some anxiety meltdown at the thought of still being single, because in my mind, I was gonna have my husband, I was gonna have my 2 children by the time that I turned 30. And And God, like, obviously has a different plan for me. Not to say that he's not going to bless me later on down the line, like, who knows, I don't know. But like, allow God to write the story, because once you like pick up the pen and you start writing, it could honestly, it just goes left. And you want to be in God's will. If I'm honest with you, there have been, you know, some potential entanglements that tried to come my way. And I had to be real with myself and be like, okay, this isn't God's will for me. And one of those people was saved and was a Christian, and the other person wasn't. So the other person who wasn't, it was clear. But the other person who was a Christian, it was like, oh, okay. Well, but there were still things that I knew and he knew it wasn't right. And he was cool with us just continuing as we were. But for me, I was like, but no, we can't, because like, God isn't in this. So if God isn't in this, then we don't need to be in this. So I chose to follow my conviction and to be obedient to my conviction. So has it been easy? No, it has definitely not been easy. But I think we always, like, and the last piece of advice I'm going to give is, you know, you want to know that you have done the will of God for your life. You want to know that you have fulfilled your calling and your purpose. And you want to know that when Jesus returns, you are in the right place that you're meant to be. And that will help you in life. That will honestly help you make the right decisions in life, knowing that you are in the right place. So certain opportunities may come along, jobs, people, there are so many different things that may come along. If you know that that's not in line with God's purpose for you, then it will make it a whole lot easier to make a decision. Somebody said something like, don't attach yourself to a building, a place, a job, something like that, but rather attach yourself to a mission, a calling, and a purpose. Yeah, I think that's what it says. So yeah, guys, that's it. Those are all the things that I had in my notes. Those are all the things I wanted to share with you, and those are the things that have really helped me, and honestly what I wish someone had told me when I was younger. So yeah, guys, I really hope that's helped you. I really hope that's blessed you. And if there's anything that you want to drop in the comments, anything that you want to add that you think would be good advice for somebody as well, please also do that, because yeah, we're all here to help others. If you like this video, as always, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and yeah, I'll see you guys soon in my next video.